PJ from Game Gumbo here, Gumbo Live, talking about games, things that we're doing during the coronavirus. And one of those that I've been doing is a game called Adventure Games. It's from KOSMOS, our friends over there. Hey, Tom Wetzel, our friends over there. I saw that Jesus is putting together some packages for people that are stuck up there in Michigan, can't play games or can't get to the regular game night. He's got 4 or 5 KOSMOS bags just loaded down with games. And one of the ones that I played is called The Dungeon. It's by Phil Walker Harding and Matthew Dunstan. On this show, I don't think I need to explain who Phil Walker Harding is. Steve, the name father, will list like 5 of his favorite games for Phil Walker Harding. But Matthew Dunstan, not a name that everybody recognizes, but you should. It's Elysium and a million other games like that. So both great designers. How does The Dungeon play? Matthew was talking about that solo RPG. This is not really an RPG. You don't really have a character that you're playing, although you do have a little character face in the picture, and you can picture that. But imagine the old Myst. Remember those Myst-type games where you point and click through a story and you have puzzles to solve and places to explore, and you felt like you could go anywhere? You know, we used to play those all the time back in the 90s. So, and that's kind of the way the dungeon works. You wake up in a dark dungeon. You can see all the places in the dungeon, and you can use an app if you want to, or it's got a book. If you see a place inside on the card showing the location, it'll have a number. The opening scene has you're stuck in the cell. I'm not spoiling anything because that's the very opening scene in the game. And there's things to look at. You can shake some bars. You can look under your cell. You can go over to the wooden door and test it out. And when you want to interact with it, you punch in a number, or you look at that number in the book, and then something happens. You can even put things together. If you find a phone and a SIM card, you could punch the number for the phone and the number for the SIM card, put them together into one smaller number or larger number, and then look at that one and see what happens. So it's very, very innovative the way it walks you through the story. I've played it solo, I've played it 2 players, and I've also played it with 4 players with my nieces and nephews during the Christmas holidays. I was okay on the 4-player, but I think as a solo or a couples experience, the adventure games are phenomenal. So if you haven't tried it, these are all the cards. Let me show you how it comes up on the inside without spoiling too much. You get a nice little rule book. You get the location cards, which look like this. And, I don't want to spoil too much. If I could find the very first one. I think it's A. Yeah, there it is. So there's the first one. See how it's got those numbers on there? So you just punch in those numbers, and then you interact with it. There's a loose brick or a skeleton or some bars. Punch those numbers in, and then something happens. You got your little meeples that you'll use to go along the part. And then the key to the game is all of these cards. It tells you the book or the app, and the app is really cool to play with. I recommend using the app. It'll tell you, take a look at card number 18. And then art 18 will be some kind of item that you can use or some kind of event that's going to happen. And you just keep exploring that and trying to figure out the puzzles as you try to escape the dungeon. I am not going to spoil anything more than that, but that is Adventure Games by KOSMOS, designed by Phil Walker Harding and Matthew Dunstan.